welcome everyone. We're doing episode number 46
You
of,
found
there's a reason we call it now the new name Quran Comedy, right? Because you can see Usama's laughing and we haven't even said anything yet.
I'm laughing because you count. I never count how many broadcasts I do because that give me stress, that make me sick. But go ahead, you're good. 46. Amen.
So now you guys know that I am very tough if I can survive 46 episodes of this book. Although my life expectancy has been reduced by at least 5 years. So if you guys appreciate what we do here, please at least like, share, subscribe to give me the power to at least make a difference, leave a legacy before I die younger. Because
Okay.
so welcome, JC, welcome, Usama. How are you doing, Usama?
I'm doing good, and I love to quote you a verse from the book of James where he said, "Consider it joy, my brethren, when you get into trial." So the joy of the Lord is your strength. As much as you read and discuss that matter with me about revealing the truth about the errors of the Quran, consider it joy. I know it is a trial, but hey, maybe some strength will come out of it for you. You know what I'm saying? Hello, JC. How are you, brother?
I'm very well. It's very good to see you both. And you know what they say, that mystery likes company. So I thought I would help Lloyd cope a little bit better with this episode.
Thank
But
you,
but
thank
also,
you.
you know what they say: if it will not kill you, it will make you strong.
Actually, there's an old Islamic proverb that says, "What does not kill you will make you stranger."
That's a switch into the word, man. It's strong,
And
not
this is making me
strange.
feel very strange, but you know, but that's just how this is. So, yeah. So here we are. We're talking about the Quran, which is Arabic for a book for the mentally freaking bewildered.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, but before we begin, let me introduce something. So, this is from the U.S. Department of Justice from the Epstein files, and I went through the
Hmm.
Epstein files, and I want to corroborate something from yesterday. So this
Hmm.
is from Aziza Al-Ahmadi to Mr. Jeffrey Epstein, and these are attachments, and it's three pieces from the Kaaba, that are being shipped, okay, to Mr. Epstein for his little mosque. Actually, let me go. Hold on. Let's just go Epstein Temple, St. James Island, just so that everybody sees this and knows what we're talking about. Here we go. There we go. The beautiful little dome of the rock on Jeffrey Epstein Island. I think it's just fantastic that he's
Hmm.
decided to get himself a little copy of the Dome of the Rock on Epstein Island. And of course, for the mosque, they call it here the mosque, right? And let's have a look at some other emails because Muslims were disputing as well. This is a UAE Mossad, blah blah, whatever. But let's have a look. Okay, so this is further emails that discuss items are three pieces from the Kaaba made into framed artwork shipped from Saudi Arabia via British Airways cargo. My golly, three pieces from the Kaaba for good old Jeffrey Epstein
I don't
from
think,
the.
hey, Lloyd, I don't think you can get even a thread of the covering of the Kaaba, not a piece of fabric, just a thread. Do you think somebody can send you a thread from the
Yes,
holy?
yes, yes. If your name is Jeffrey Epstein and they admire you
No,
because
no,
you're
no.
so much
I'm
like
talking about
Muhammad,
you. You, not Jeffrey. Why
it
are you
says here
confusing me?
correction. And of course,
Yeah.
correction on my part, we're not receiving the Kaaba because they said we're sending you the Kaaba. No, we are receiving three pieces from the Kaaba. We
Hey,
are
maybe
receiving,
one of the pieces, but we do not know. Let me listen to this. If you're talking about a piece from the Kaaba, could it be that piece is the black stone itself? Because I believe this gentleman here, who's dead now, he will appreciate the the most holy piece of the Kaaba, which is in the shape of a woman vagina. So you can go online and see the picture if you want to, but it's up to
Well,
you. But
well,
if he
let's have
can
a look.
receive that piece, if he receives that piece, that'll be awesome. You think he got that piece, the black stone?
Yeah, the Epstein file starts. The three pieces in the next pages are from inside and outside the Kaaba. The below
Hmm.
photos are just to illustrate where the pieces are from. 1, the exterior. 2, from the interior. Because Mr.
Wow.
Epstein, of course, we love your little, you remind us of Muhammad so much. We want to give you pieces of the Kaaba from inside and outside.
You're terrible. You're terrible. I
So
know you have dirty mind. I know what you're trying to talk, what you're trying to say, but that's okay.
and
MashaAllah.
then here they've got, and they give him this little cloth from the Kaaba, chapter name Al-Baqarah, the cow. We see the turning of thy face for guidance to the heavens. Now shall we turn thee to a Qibla that shall please thee. Turn thy face in the direction of the sacred mosque. And this was sent to Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. So maybe he
Well,
needed to know what direction to pray when he went into his little temple.
listen, brother. There is so much similarity between Epstein and Muhammad. I mean, they disagree about the age. I know Muhammad likes them around 9. Epstein, he goes for 14. And maybe that's why, this little bit separation between the both.
They were
But they both
disappointed with
like,
him. They were saying, look, man, if you follow Islam, you gotta drop your age limits here,
no, he could not. He is more decent than Allah and Muhammad. So yeah, let's be honest. Give the man his right testimony. I cannot lie about Muhammad, and I could not lie about Epstein, whatever this nutcase guy is. His name is. But I mean, they both like little girls, but there's differences. I mean, this is humanity. Some like them at 9, like Muhammad, as Allah gave him the blessing. Some like them 14 and a little bit older. So that is the difference. So anyway, but it is sick, man. I never saw that it will come to this holiness to receive some 3 pieces of the holy, the most holy site of Islam, the Kaaba, to be sent to his island. Man,
This is
mashallah,
a
mashallah.
1.1 meter square piece of the Kiswa sent to him, not a tiny
Are you
little.
serious?
Yeah.
A whole square meter? I thought the 2 inches square or an inch and a half.
Now here's my question. I mean,
Yeah.
why would they be sending him pieces of the Kaaba? Because Muslims, if you look on X, like there were no Muslims mentioned in the Epstein files. Yeah, sure, no Muslims, definitely.
Wait a minute. If Muhammad was on earth right now, he'll be living on that island.
I know he'd be a permanent guest.
Are you
And
kidding me? No Muslims? Why? The Muslim? Are you trying to tell me that Muslim are denouncing Muhammad? Are Muslim are embarrassed of Muhammad? They no longer have anything to. It is a practice of Islam for 1460 years, man. What are you talking about?
yeah, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, and He's Allah, blah blah. So this is what they sent him,
That's a
So
nice
just
piece.
so everyone knows, Epstein was actually in possession of pieces of the Kaaba from inside the Kaaba, which they sent him. I have no
Say,
idea.
someone should really check just in case if his temple had a Qibla, just in case.
I know it's a good idea. Did his temple have a Qibla? Plus Qibla.
Now, more important, did the Kaaba in Saudi Arabia still have the black stone? Is it the real one or artificial one? Because they maybe send the real one to Epstein. I mean, how do you know?
Yeah, there's no mention of Qibla, but shipment of
Oh,
sacred
here he
Kaaba.
is. Man, mashallah, mashallah.
We need to put Dan Gibson on the job.
Yeah, but I mean, this is crazy. Why? It's just a
Okay.
souvenir. It's just a souvenir. It's not a problem. Yeah, they didn't send him. Did they send him pieces of I don't know, like from the Temple Mount? No. They had to choose the Kaaba. No,
Yeah.
nothing from
But here is the
ancient.
truth, Lloyd. Here's the truth. There's so much similarity between Islamic cult, and Epstein cult. Uh, I think you see that also gay and lesbian in the West now love Muslims. I mean, they've been for a long time because they believe the Muslim, and the Muslim said, we love gay, we love lesbian. We got two huge mosques now in America, one in New York, one in California, led by Muslim imam who is the other one, the pink one, not the men one, but the girly one. And there, when you go to this mosque, you see girls standing next to girls. These are husband and husband, or maybe wife and wife, however you want to call them. And there are also guys standing next to guy, and they're all standing in lines. I'm not kidding you. I never saw it in my life. I see women and men standing in line together, praying towards the Kaaba, the Mecca holy site, the direction, the Qibla, and they all shout, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. You should hear it, man. It will move you and make you cry. Anyway, can we move on out of this garbage, unless you want to say something else?
No, that's it. I just think it's pretty
Oh,
disturbing. I mean,
you.
why would he be sent this? I mean,
I don't-
why would the Saudi authorities agree to send him pieces from the Kaaba?
Blessing. Maybe he will convert to Islam and he will drop the age from 14 to 9. I mean, there's a ways you can promote your belief and to track, to excite people about changing their way or their way of thinking or their doctrine or their belief. Hey, if we send you 3 pieces from the Kaaba, will you drop the age from 14 to 9? Who knows? Maybe he did. I mean, we don't know what happened.
Maybe you can be a proper Muslim supplier
Trade.
of young women. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So there we go. So we were talking about. So we ended up here last time in this.
Yeah. What a great way to end it last time. It was awesome, man.
So then we talked about Ibn Ishaq, and on their way
Yeah.
to Jerusalem, the story of Balaam ibn Beor. So shall we just continue from here? Because the last one was, he stated that Ibn Ishaq claimed Moses was the one who invaded the holy house, Jerusalem, but Ibn Kathir stated the fact was it was just Joshua, but Moses never entered the Holy Land.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. They
Yeah.
got the history. They got the history squared beautifully, wonderfully. Especially when you hear the different opinion about who did what. Anyway, go ahead, brother.
All right. So Ibn Ishaq mentioned on their way to Jerusalem the story of Balaam ibn Beor. Ibn Kathir inserted 3 verses from the Quran, which I believe have nothing to do with Balaam. The verses state, and to recite them the news of him to whom we gave our verses. So he departed from it, so that Satan followed him. So he was of the seduced. Yeah. And if we will, we would lift him up with it, but he clung to the earth and followed his desire. So his parable is like the parable of the dog, which pants if you chase him or pants if you leave him alone. Such is the parable of those people who denied our verses. So narrate the stories, perhaps they may reflect. Evil is the likeness of those people who denied our verses, and they were treating themselves unjustly.
What verses, Lloyd? Help me out here. We're reading nonsense words in the Quran, which inserted by the title, by the number 175, 176, 177. Is these are the nonsensical verses of Allah in the Quran? He's talking about that the people denied them. What verses? What nonsense are you talking about? Help me out, brother.
Usama, these verses are chasing you, pregnant with wisdom, but you are like the dog that runs away from them, panting whether you run away from them, panting whether you don't listen to them.
Do me a favor. I maybe have asked you that before, but you never listened to me. Make a note on the side of your desk there with a piece of paper. We need to have a full broadcast on the parables of the Quran. Can you do that? Please, I beg you. I pay you $1,000. It's a gift from our generosity to your ministry. Especially, you can use it to buy some medicine for your headache and for some relaxation medicine for the stress I put on you as you read all this nonsense. But anyway, but seriously, we need to do a presentation on the parable of the Quran. Nobody ever talked about it. Here is one in front of you. Can you tell me what is the lesson you learned from that story about the dog? Anything?
So if you
Anything at
follow your
all?
desire, then you're like the dog that pants if you chase him or pants if you leave him alone. So I don't know,
Hey,
JC, answer the man.
yeah, JC, you have an answer. Go for it, JC. I know you can do it, man. What is this? What this parable is talking about?
I don't think that's a parable. The only thing that I can think of is that when those verses were written, they were supposed to be a bit of comedy, because it makes no sense. It would make you laugh. It's like the parable of the dog that
God is my witness,
it
brother. God
pants
is
no
my
matter
witness.
what.
If I am a teacher and you give me that answer of your understanding of that parable, I'll give you square F, not C, not D, F. You guys don't understand the Quran. What is wrong with you? Lloyd got it wrong. You got it wrong. I don't know what it's talking about. There must be somebody understand that. Any of your audience, Lloyd, right now, who knows how to explain that parable here? Going once, going twice.
So a dog will pant if you leave him alone. A dog will pant if you chase him. So basically, you're just a panter, no matter what. So there's nothing we can do. So in
Hey,
other
do me a
words,
favor. Yeah,
a
do me a
leopard's
favor.
spots will never change, even if the leopard changes from one spot to another.
How about move to the next paragraph? Because
In
you're
Africa, a
stressing.
leopard might go from one spot to another, but the leopard's spot never changes.
But you know that I've seen my dog many times. He's sitting home, comfortably relaxed, and he does not pat him like he does not do that. He's just calm and good and cool.
Ah, you know what? This was an Epstein dog because it's a panty dog. So this is
Move
a
on.
dog from Epstein Island.
Me,
That is
me. It
now
must
we've
be. Yeah. Let's move on to Ibn Kathir. The next paragraph must be also.
or it's a dog that wears pants. It could be dogs are different. I don't know. Look, I'm trying here. I'm trying. Ibn Kathir interpreted these verses. Oh, thank heavens for Ibn Kathir. He's going to do this for us by stating that Ibn Abbas said that Balaam knew the great name and his people asked him to curse Moses and his people. However, he refused, and when they nagged him, he rode on his donkey and went towards the camp of the children of Israel. And when he drew near to them, the donkey refused to move on. So Balaam kicked the donkey. Oh my God, he's a donkey kicker. And then the donkey moved. However, the donkey stopped moving again. So he kicked the donkey harder the second time. Then she roused and she stopped the third time. So he kicked her again. And then she said to him, "Oh, Balaam, where do you want to go? Can't you see the angel in front of me? Will you go to the prophet of Allah and the believers to curse them?"
Wait, let's stop it for a second. The story is true. It's taken from the Bible. But what does have to do with what we just have read? 175, 176, and 177. Help me out. How
It's
you
a
put even Balaam in this
evolution.
reading?
You went from a dog that pants when it's sitting still, it pants when it's running, and we went from a dog can only pant, but a donkey can speak. We went to a more advanced level of communication.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Can I see the Shahada now, or should I wait until the end of the book?
Um,
We wait.
We'll wait. So he did not give up from beating the donkey until they arrived at the top of the mountain. When he looked at the
That's
camp,
not true, because in the Bible, he stopped beating the dog.
yeah, this is donkey
Immediately.
abuse. This is donkey abuse. I mean, this is what the Quran teaches: donkey abuse.
Yeah. And women abuse and human abuse. Man, go ahead.
So he looked at the camp of the children of Israel and he began to curse them. But his tongue did not obey him, except to bless Moses and his people and to curse his own people. So they blamed him. He apologized by telling them that his tongue could only do that. And his tongue stuck out until he fell on his chest. Then he told his people.
That was a long tongue, man. That was like, I don't know, 2.5, 3 feet long.
So Yeah, if it's 3 feet, then he's got a foot in his mouth. In fact, he's got 3 feet in his mouth. This is very bad foot in mouth disease. So he told his people, now I lost the life of this world and the hereafter, and nothing is left except cunning and deception. And then Balaam ordered his people to beautify the females and send the women with goods from the market so that they could show them and sell them to the people. Yeah, have the people get the market things and sell them to the people. And the people did that, and the people sold things to the people. And then the Maklar the Maklar until the Maklar was Maklard. I saw that in South Park. There's like the Maklars, and they Maklard the Maklar, but then after the Maklar, they were Maklard, so they Maklard. And then you have to Maklar the Maklar because of the
That's how it works all the time.
I saw this in South Park. Perhaps they would cause the children of Israel to commit adultery with the women, so then Balak could have victory in battle. So they did, and one of their women with the name of Casti. You sure it wasn't Sharon? Barbara?
No,
Lisa?
Casti. Listen, her name is Casti, man. I wrote it right.
Met with one of the great men from the children of Israel, Zimri, son of Shalom. It was said that he was the leader of the tribe of Simeon, ibn Jacob. So when he committed adultery with her, Allah sent a plague on the children of Israel, and it spread among them.
Okay, hit on 15 here. Click 15, please, with your mouse.
I'm going to click on it.
What do we have here in 15? Ebed. What's before? It's Ibn Kathir. MashaAllah. So that's a direct quotation from Ibn Kathir. I did not make it up.
So there was a plague. A plague happened. Just so you guys know, there was a plague. It was a bad thing. A thing happened. The thing spread among them. They invented the movie The Thing.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell, my gosh, they made Kurt Russell. The Muslims invented everything. So when the news arrived to Phineas, Ibn Eleazar, Ibn Aaron, he took his spear, which was made out of iron, and he killed the man and the woman in their tent. That's how the plague was ended. It was a tent plague, and it was stuck in the tent. It was trying to spread, but it was the tent had a zipper on it, and then when they just.
Do you mind if we can go to the biblical story? I really would like to read the real account, because somehow Ibn Kathir really ruined a biblical account. So let's open the Bible, if you don't mind, and look for.
Just so you know, the number of the people killed by that plague was 70,000. What was the plague? We don't know.
It's a plague. Yeah, the thing which causes people to die.
The thing that happened. So a thing happened. A thing. Just so you guys know, a thing happened. What kind of thing? It could have been the frog plague. Maybe it was the frog plague, and they were killed by attack frogs.
No, but that happened way late after the frog. By the way, in the frog plague, nobody died.
What if there was a grasshopper plague? They were killed by attack grasshoppers.
Yeah, who knows?
What if those grasshoppers were little spears?
But seriously, can you go to in the Bible, just to do a quick search? Where do we learn about Balaam donkey? You find it and give you the passage in the Bible, so you don't have to search for the next 2 hours. It is a true biblical account. Somehow have nothing to do with the Quran, but Ibn Kathir would like to make his book a little bit bigger, so he come up with this. That's exactly what Muhammad does. If you investigate what Muhammad does, even in the hadith, which you call Qudsi, he actually picking up stuff from the Bible or stuff written somewhere Old Testament, New Testament. He made it his own. So go ahead and read to us if you don't mind. I prefer to read that chapter in the Bible to read the whole book. I wrote my own hand. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, bugger. Sorry. What was I doing to myself here?
Yeah, you need to just go to the Bible.
Balaam's donkey. Balaam got up in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the Moabite officials. But God was very angry when he went, and the angel of the Lord stood in the road to oppose him. Balaam was riding on his donkey, and his 2 servants were with him. And when the angel When the donkey saw the angel standing on the road with a drawn sword in his hand, it turned off the road into a field, and Balaam beat it to get back on the road. The angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path through the vineyards, with walls on both sides. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it pressed close to the wall, crushing Balaam's foot against it. So he beat the donkey again. Then the angel of the Lord moved on ahead and stood in a narrow place where there was no room to turn, either to the right or to the left. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it lay down under Balaam, and he was angry and beat it with his staff. Then the Lord opened the donkey's mouth, and it said to Balaam, "What have I done to you to make you beat me these 3 times?" And Balaam answered the donkey, "You have made a fool of me. If only I had a sword in my hand, I would kill you right now." And the donkey said to Balaam, "Am I not your own donkey, which you have always ridden to this day? Have I been in the habit of doing this to you?" "No," he said. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with his sword drawn. So he bowed low, and he fell face down. That's a lot more detailed.
Of course, anything written in the Bible, it is written in detail. We don't need a scholar. I don't need to go to interpreter who disagree about what he's talking about. Notice how many times the name Balaam. Did you find the name Balaam anywhere in the Quran? Not just in these 3 verses. Anywhere else in the Quran? No. Did Muhammad know anything about Balaam? No. How did Ibn Kathir come up with the story of Balaam? I have no idea. Is there any connection between 175, 176, 177 and the story of Balaam? Nothing. And they call Ibn Kathir a scholar. I call him a dumber, and they said, no, he's a scholar. Your scholars, my dear Muslim friends, are stupid people who lead you to the hole, and you and them are going to spend eternity in hell.
You know, we've had a lot of trolls lately, and there was a guy that his channel is actually called Prophet Daniel Has Spoken.
Yeah.
And he left a couple of comments on my channel, and this was after Odon's one talk, and he said, "I invite you to a debate. Let me know what you think." And I'm like, there's a whole bunch of us on the channel. Who exactly is he inviting?
Yeah.
Right? And what does he want to talk about? What exactly is he looking to debate? But then he leaves a second comment a few minutes later, and it says, "This channel has nearly 30,000 subscribers. How did this channel get this many subscribers? People are stupid."
Oh yeah, we are stupid. Absolutely, yeah. And he is a smart one.
Yeah, but this guy has a belief. You see, his belief is that the Quran is a guardian text over the Bible. And if something in the Bible agrees with the Quran, then it is correct. And then, of course, you don't need the Bible. And if it disagrees with the Quran, then it's wrong, and we should discard it. And if it's not mentioned in the Quran, then you should ignore it. And how much detail exactly is in the Quran? Because
if you remove, yes, exactly. If you remove all that which is taken from the Bible by so-called Muslim scholars, they will have empty books. Literally, the Quran will be empty. Be a lot of empty pages. Still.
Yeah. And then, of course, we need to, this is a picture of Muhammad, true story, this is the only known photograph of Muhammad.
With a gun? Wait a minute, there was no guns in Muhammad days. I think that's fake, man. There's no way this is true.
This is definitely the only known photo of Muhammad from back in the day.
It cuts the head of who? Whose head is that?
This is taken from a very important story in the Quran, just so you know. I just thought I'd help you guys out here.
Story in the Quran. A man with a gun.
And then Balak.
And he's wearing underwear. I don't know. I never read that in the Quran, man. I think you make this up. I don't believe you.
Yeah. So Balaam says to the angel of the Lord, "I have sinned. I did not realize you were standing in the road to oppose me. Now, if you are displeased, I will go back." And the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, "Go with the men, but speak only what I tell you." So Balaam went with Balak's officials. See, now these names all make a little bit of sense. So when Balak heard that Balaam was coming, he went out to meet him at the Moabite town on the Ammon border at the edge of his territory. Balak said to Balaam, "Did I not send you an urgent summons? Why didn't you come to me? Am I really not able to reward you?" "Well, I've come to you now," Balaam replied, "but I can't say whatever I please. I must speak only what God puts in my mouth." Then Balaam went with Balak to Kiriath Huzoth. There you go.
And we know this the story. By the way, there was a plague, and the plague killed these thousands of people. And the plague ended when Phinehas put the spear in the man and that woman, the Moabite woman, who were having sex not in some tent, but actually at the temple of the Lord, as they were at the tent of the Pentecost, the tent of where they have the Ark of the Covenant and all that. And that's how the plagues ended. But when you read Ibn Kathir, guys, logic, common sense. You cannot put information is not in the verse.
Yeah.
You cannot put names are not in the verse. You cannot make up the detail which is not in the verse, and you tell me that is a scholarly interpretation. That
Yeah.
Ibn Kathir, if he's alive today, he will go to prison for what he's doing.
Yeah, you know what?
Like-
We've got Prophet Muhammad here who is telling us to read the corrupted Bible. He's suddenly saying, this Muslim is suddenly saying, oh yeah, that corrupted Bible, well, these verses mean, but sorry, Mr. Muslim, we are constantly told that the Bible is corrupt and we can't believe a word it says. Now, tell you what, to believe you, how about you give us a list of what verses are not corrupted and the list of the verses that are corrupted? That'll be nice. And then also explain to us on what authority Muslims have any knowledge of the Bible, and show us. And here's one question though, please tell us where exactly Ibn Kathir gets all of this information that he gets from God knows where, which is not in the Quran. How about you do that? You see, because first of all, you're telling us to read a book that's corrupt, and you're saying, but when it's convenient, the book is corrupt and we can't believe it. But when you quote it, it's, it's like those hadiths that are sahih when you quote them, but they are da'if when we quote them. A little bit of hypocrisy going on here.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Most Muslims do not know jack about the source from which Ibn Kathir wrote his great interpretation. Have they known he was copying from the Bible, right and left, and other books, they should have quit calling themselves Muslims long time ago. But anyway, let's move on with the fabrication of Ibn Kathir.
Yeah, the photo that I showed of Muhammad here, but Muhammad wore leather underwear. Muawiyah bin Abu Sufyan reported the Prophet as saying, the eyes are the leather strap of the anus, and when the eye sleeps, the leather strap is loosened.
Which means what?
I'm sure it's something to do with Epstein. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, Epstein. No, I got it. No, I got it. No, I
Because
understand.
Muhammad's got his eyes firmly on the leather strap around the anus, and he's thinking, if I remove that leather strap, you know what's left?
Don't want to know. Don't want to know. Keep
Neither
going.
do I. This, you wanted to say something, JC?
Yeah, can I just show very quickly? Sorry, I thought I was doing it. How exegesis should be done on the Quran. Just a little verse. If Lloyd, you can actually put up the Surah 90, verse 3.
Yeah, just so you guys know, if ever you guys needed a picture of Muhammad, here we go. Okay, so Muhammad was a warrior. Just so you guys know, Muhammad was a warrior. He was very worried. He worried about getting wee-wee on his clothes, so he would take a wee-wee while sitting down like a woman, for instance. He worried about that. Is there anything else he was a warrior about? He was a warrior about how white he was. He was a warrior about. Do you know of anything else that he worried about, Usama?
But there is wisdom in everything he did in his sunnah, his way of life. Because listen, if he stand up like men and he urinate like men, and there is a wind, if a little bit of the water which he's peeping out, his urination touch his legs or touch his clothes, now he's unclean. There's not enough water in the Saudi Arabia Peninsula to do wudu again. Therefore, he sat like a woman and urinate like a woman, so he will not have any urine on him. On the other hand, it's okay according to his sunnah to drink a whole glass, big one, of camel urine. So little bit of your own urine on your clothes and make you unclean. Drinking a whole cup of urine, ooh, sweet, fresh camel urine, that's a healthy and it's good for you.
And then
And it will
also,
not make you unclean.
And when they tell you about the leather strap around the anus, I mean, if you think about it, if you keep your eye focused on that leather strap, then you are then keeping your eye on the ball.
You're
That's
killing
one
me.
way to keep your eye on the ball. I mean, so they invented football as well. They invented proverbs about the most beautiful game. So Islam invented everything. There you go. This is
Absolutely.
so
And that
yeah.
is a great evidence. Listen, brother, and that is a great evidence that Muhammad was a true prophet. I mean,
Yeah,
how did he know they're going to be doing football game? You know,
yeah. JC, which verse did you want?
It's, Surah 90, 90 and verse 3, I think it is.
Surah 90, verse 3, coming up.
mashallah.
Al-Balad, the city, and the begetter, and that which he begat.
Yeah, and Usama can read it in the Arabic. So the way to do exegete, this is meant to be a book from the Judeo-Christian belief. So when it said this, the begetter and what he begets is the Father and the Son. This book was Trinitarian. So when you go to the tafsirs, all of their exegesis is to just tell you something else, because it cannot be the Trinity. So they will tell you it's Abraham and Ishmael, it's Adam and his descendants. It's like, no, this is the Abrahamic faith by the male begetter and what he begot, Father and Son. Simple.
Mashallah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, true. So yeah, then
ووالد ووالد وما ولد. أيوة أيوة.
yeah.
Mashallah. Now
So
I
the
feel good about
smallest
myself.
number. So yeah, so guys, 70 people died from the plague, the plague thing, and then the smallest number mentioned was 20,000. But then Ibn Kathir stated that perhaps the story of Balaam took place when Moses' army entered Jerusalem for the first time after he left Egypt, and Allah knows best.
But if you notice in the Bible, the Moabite and the curse of Balaam to the children of Israel took place after the children of Israel went to the promised land. That took place literally after the death of Moses. So what Moses had to do with what? I mean, what is the connection between Moses and
Well,
Balaam?
let me explain. I can give you the answer. Ibn Kathir tells us this happened when Moses' army entered Jerusalem for the first time.
Yeah.
However, Ibn Kathir also says that the story of Balaam took place while they were wandering in the desert.
MashaAllah.
Smash Allah, exactly. We need to smash Allah. So there you go. It happened while they were wandering in the desert, and it happened when they entered Jerusalem.
Which is, it's only a few days apart. Not much. Yeah. It could be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the night of Al-Zut, that's probably when that. Moving on. So what really happened, according to the biblical account in Numbers 22 to 25, the children of Israel settled near Moab. Balak, son of Zipporah, was so afraid of the large number of the children of Israel that he asked the elders of Midian to send and ask Balaam, son of Beor, to go and curse the children of Israel. Balaam refused to go with the elders and do so, and God commanded him not to. For God explained to him that these people were blessed. However, Balak sent the elders once again, and the response of Balaam was, even if Balak would give him his house full of silver and gold, he would not disobey the word of the Lord his God. He asked the elders to wait that night so he could seek the advice of the Lord, and he said he could go, but he could only do what God commanded. Balaam rode his donkey. On his way to the children of Israel, the angel of the Lord appeared, and the donkey's sword. And then, of course, the angel blocked the way, and Balaam beat the donkey. And then, of course, the angel blocked the way, and he beat the donkey again. And eventually, Balaam became angry, and the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey and asked what she had done to him, that he had to hit her 3 times, as we covered. So there you go. 70,000, 20,000. This is Islamic mathematics. It's the same number, right? It's the same number, right?
In Islam, it makes no difference. Sometimes they give you a number. It will make sense if he says 70,000 or 69,700 or 70,250. But in Islam, numbers is always like 3,000 or maybe 20 or maybe 45,000. It means just there's no number float everywhere. Good luck.
That's that's definitely that. It's one of those numbers.
Yeah.
Definitely a number. So So Balaam blesses them, right? So now this took place 3 times. This is Numbers 24. He prophesied to Balak what would take place in his land, for the land would be given to the children of Israel, and none of his people would live. And Balaam rose, departed from Balak, and each went his own way. And where does this fabricated story of Ibn Kathir come from? Who knows, right? The adulterous relationship between the children of Israel and the daughters of Moab, where there's no connection between Balaam and such a story. The account here is in Numbers 25. The children of Israel committed adultery with the Moabite women on their own. The number of people who died was 24,000, not 20,000, not 70,000. And the plague did not end until Phinehas intervened by killing Zamari, the son of Salu, and a Midianite woman whose name was Cosbi, the daughter of Zur. The plague ended, and God gave his descendants a covenant of the everlasting priesthood, because Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, was zealous for his God and made atonement for the children of Israel. So in the story of Joshua, Ibn Kathir stated that it was Joshua who took the children of Israel across the Jordan River to the city of Jericho, the city with the high walls and great castle. He surrounded the city of Jericho for 6 months. One day they surrounded it and blew their trumpets and shouted, Allah Akbar, with the voice of one man, and the wall fell down.
Stop. The children of Israel shout Allahu Akbar. The Bible said they shouted, but the Bible did not say they shouted Allahu Akbar. Always he just said, hey, that's what they said. Shout. There's no words Allahu Akbar. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. They have to say Elohim Akbar. I don't even know what Akbar in Hebrew is, but that's okay. They were Muslims, man. They must have shouted Allahu Akbar. Yeah.
Look, are you saying that Allah would have made a mistake in his own book?
No. That was my mistake, man. No, it's my fault.
You know, the people who write these books, I am just so disappointed.
Why?
Because it hurts my brain. JC, you want to say?
I was just going to say that Joshua famously spoke Arabic.
He did.
Spoke Arabic. And he shouted Allahu Akbar. I remember. You remember? You know what? I remember that because that was the 2nd week after I was born, and I cut my own Cordoba cord. You know. Remember, I drove my mom to back from the hospital to home. The same week, the 2nd week, that's when it happened. I remember.
You know, it's crazy that Allah's own language, Arabic, wasn't used to make Allah's own book, the Bible.
Yeah, it's a mistake, man. I can't believe it. Because there was no actually good way to write the Arabic language until, like, I don't know, the 8th centuries or early 9th centuries. So how can the Bible written in the Arabic when there was no Arabic writings? But that's okay. We're good. Move on.
Yeah. So, and then the wall fell down, and they took all the spoils, and they killed 12,000 men and women. And where did Ibn Kathir come up with all of these lines? The story of the capture of Jericho is found in the book of Joshua in chapter 6. The Lord told Joshua to go around the city of Jericho, for the city was completely sealed. In 6 days they went around the city quietly. On the 7th day, the children of Israel went around the city 6 times, and on the 7th they went around the city. The priests blew the trumpets, and the people shouted. The people did not shout Allahu Akbar, for the Jewish people did not have such a shout, but they simply made. Allah wasn't even a Jewish God. Good grief. How did these? Everybody in the city.
Breathe, man. Take it easy. We have a lot to go. Take it easy. Now move on to the next program. MashaAllah.
Everybody in the city was cursed by the Lord except Rahab the harlot. She and all her household would live because she had hidden the spies earlier when they came to Jericho. And the silver, gold, brass, and iron taken from the city of Jericho, it would be holy to the Lord and would have been given to the treasury. And the city was burned to the ground. Every animal, man, and woman was killed. Joshua swore by God that any man who would rebuild the city would be cursed. And the Lord was with Joshua, and he became famous throughout all the land. Ibn Kathir goes on to tell us more about Joshua. He stated that Joshua waged war against many kings. Then he told the story of Joshua praying to hold the sun and the moon still, and Allah knows best. So the story is not in the Quran, not in the Hadith. It's only in the Bible, which is the only source Ibn Kathir could use to invent his version of the story. So, as Muhammad was, so was Ibn Kathir. Muhammad used to copy and then change and fabricate stories based on information taken from the Bible, and then so did his follower, Ibn Kathir. Why don't Muslims just give us a copy of the original preserved Bible that they had at the time?
Well, the one which did not exist except in their imagination. Are you talking about that one?
But they know that the Bible is corrupted, so why don't they give us a copy of the original one that they have with the evidence that it's...
You know that I collect and can collect a lot of the material of the Bible from their own books. And if you read it from the Bible, for majority of Muslims, they will make fun of these stories, not realizing that their scholars write it down. You know, one of the great things I have some struggle with for some time with Muslims is the rejection that David commit adultery with Bathsheba. Until I start reading Al-Tabari interpretation about the test of David in the temple, and how the golden bird flew from the window inside the Holy of Holiness, and David saw the bird. David tried to catch the bird, and the bird flew outside the window, and David followed the bird to know where it's at, and behold, David saw the naked woman swimming on the top of her roof. And that's when David brought her in and had sex with her, and they actually gave you the name of the woman, Bathsheba. So that's just an example. Muslims reject the biblical account, not realizing that their scholars quoting the same story in their writings. And I can give you hundreds of examples of that, hundreds. Unending copying and pasting from the Bible to so-called Muslim scholars' writings.
Yeah, this is... Yeah, but I mean, we're supposed to not believe the Bible, but we're supposed to believe the Bible when a Muslim quotes the Bible, but they can't give us a definitive list of what is reliable, what is unreliable. And then they don't have an original copy of the Bible, and they don't even have an original early Quran. They don't have the Muhammadic Quran. They don't have the Uthmanic Quran.
And if you read, once again, Lloyd, if you read the story of Joshua and the story of Zimran and the story of any of this from the Bible, they make fun of it unless they know it is in their scholars' writings. And that's when they don't make fun of it.
So, but if they know that their version of the story is right, where are they getting their version of the story from?
He's a scholar, man. Because he's a scholar. He knows how to interpret the Quran.
Where's the source he got it from?
Well, he didn't get it from anywhere. He's just a scholar. He knows it.
Yeah, but the biblical story is different, or far more complete and different. So where did he get his version from? Where's the source of his version?
You ask questions. In Islam, we don't ask. Go to Quran chapter 5, verse 101, and make a ring out of it. Put it around your finger, okay? So never ask, because if you ask, you become an infidel. Do you want to become an infidel?
I think I prefer it. I don't think the alternative is
just don't ask. Trust me.
Here we go. Player Fein says the original books that Allah sent down are in the preserved toilets of Allah, because Allah's got the original preserved toilets in paradise.
Well,
it's the preserved green toilets, I think. So yeah, I agree.
That's a good answer. So when Ibn Kathir is doing these things, does it feel almost like they had this book that they couldn't read, they couldn't understand, everything is out of place, and they give it to a guy like Ibn Kathir and said, okay, make it make sense. And then that guy goes through any sources available, including the Old Testament and stuff, to come up with stories that they seem to fit those verses, to say, you see, very clear, that's the story there, even though the Quran is not talking about that at all. Does it feel almost like duct taping the whole religion?
It does. It does.
And the problem with when we think about the narrative that, oh yeah, the Injil and the Torah, they were corrupt. One of the other problems with the narrative, there are millions, is that there was a precedent. The Christians, they had the New Testament, and then if anybody asked, hey, what is going on? Who is this Jesus person in here? What they would do is, okay, go to the Old Testament. You have the Hebrew scriptures right there, and you can go to the Jews. They will tell you those are their scriptures. So this person Jesus was prophesied. But so there is that precedent of keeping the older scriptures so that you can use them as backup. But when we get to Islam, instead of having Old Testament, New Testament, and Newest Testament, is not everything has been corrupted, and you have to tell me that in the original it was all very Islamic. It's like, but there was a precedent. The Christians had maintained the previous scriptures. Surely, if this was a religion being created by a guy called Muhammad, they would have kept whatever it is that they had to support their claims.
Yeah, well, true. These are the preserved toilets in paradise, just so you guys know.
Which one is? I mean, man, they look old.
No, that's it. This is an original picture from. This is in the earliest Quran. When they opened it, they found a couple of old pictures, and these have been colorized from the preserved toilets.
I got you. Mashallah.
True story. So
I learn
thank
a lot
you.
from you. I learn a lot from you. You're awesome.
That's what I'm here for, man. I'm here for you guys. So Ibn Kathir stated that Abu Huraira said that Muhammad said, one of the prophets invaded. One of the prophets invaded. Which prophet? We don't know.
The one, man. Come on, why are you asking too much?
Yeah, one of the prophets. So he said to his people, why are all the prophets Jewish except this one guy? You know,
What do you mean?
Why, if you look, all the prophets are Jewish except for this dude called Momo.
Well, to be honest with you, Momo said in the Quran that the prophethood belonged only to the Jews, to the children of Israel. Do you know that? Let me give you the evidence. Do me a favor. And let's go to the Quran, man. Can you I know you don't like to read my Quran for some reason. You're like most American people do not, or the people speaking English. Look at the word prophethood. Can you look for the word prophethood?
Is that like Robin Hood, but just a guy called Prophethood, like the Islamic version of Robin Hood?
Yep, prophethood. Just seriously, let's search for the word prophethood. Prophethood, mashallah. You're
like
good.
Hood, as in H-U-D or H-O-U-D?
I don't know how I spelled it. H-O-U-D. I mean, it's one word, not two words. If you put the two word, you'll never find
prophethood. Oh, sorry. Now I know what you mean. Prophethood. Oh, the prophethood. My bad. I can spell. There we go. Prophethood.
You can, okay. Look at this. The prophethood and the book, the Bible, were ordained to the descendant of Jacob, the Jews. Okay, read what they said in verse 27.
Just make this a fraction smaller. And we granted him Isaac and Jacob, and we assigned the prophethood and the book to his descendants, and we gave him his wage in this world, and surely in the hereafter he is among the good.
Notice the word assigned is past tense. So Allah in the Quran is telling me that the prophethood only belonged to the Jewish people, to Jacob descendants. Look for another one. There is another one.
Yeah, the prophethood, you're right.
Yeah,
the prophethood is only granted to the descendants. Yeah.
What's the next one?
And indeed, we gave the book and the wisdom and the prophethood to the children of Israel, and we provided them with the good things, and we favored them.
I challenge a Muslim, give me a name of any of the prophets of the 66 books of the Bible who's not a Jew. An Egyptian prophet, a Chinese prophet, a Russian prophet, some guy from Europe somewhere, some guy from America, Canada. I mean, I need some other prophet who's not a Jew. Can you give me a name? One. I don't need two or three. I know more claim to be a prophet, but can you give me
Prophet Salih?
What is that?
He's in the Quran. Allah knows him.
Salih, you mean? Salih was an Arab. Shu'aib was an Arab, okay? And there were 4 Arab prophets. And what's so amazing about that? Muhammad said in the Quran, every nation has a prophet. So for the Arab nation, it should have one, which his name is Muhammad. Why we have 3 more Arabs? Why we have 4 Arabs? Why we do not have any of the nations of Africa or Asia or Europe? Why we don't have any of this, the rest of the people of the earth, have any prophets? See, the contradiction is all over.
because they were not given prophethood status.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyway, so the idea that Muhammad the prophet is a Jew, he had to be a Jew. He literally had to be one of the children of Israel, and he's not.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that's the end of the story. Sorry,
Hey,
man.
I think you should organize a show just to talk about that. I can see the title. Muhammad was a Jew. There you go. That's what the Quran says.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to believe he's a prophet, you have to take it that he was a Jew.
Okay.
Yes.
So Muhammad was a Jew. So these Muslims need to unsay the Shahada, and they need to get themselves to the synagogue anytime soon.
MashaAllah. Yeah, soon. Soon
Yeah.
and very soon.
So,
Keep going, bro.
So one of the prophets invaded. You guys didn't know this, but the Quran tells us Allah explains that one of the prophets invaded. He did, for sure. This is not in doubt.
Yeah.
So is there like a book in the Bible called Prophet's Invasion or something like that? Or the invasion of the prophets? Or the
It's just
invasion
what
of the
amazing is Muslims in Muhammad days did not have the guts to simply ask Muhammad, what was the name of that prophet you're talking about? Does he have a name? Muhammad just made up stuff, man. Or literally Abu Huraira is making up stuff about Muhammad, and here is Ibn Kathir quoted it for us. I mean, how logical it is for somebody to say one of the prophet invaded. Does he have a name? Does he live somewhere?
right. So he said to his people, no one follow me if he just got married to a wife and he desires to have children with her, or if he built a house and he did not finish his roof, or if he bought sheep and he is waiting for the babies.
See, that is a biblical story here. But we do not know what in the word Muhammad is talking about.
Yeah. So when they say the prophets were secret Muslims, we say Muhammad was a Jew. Yep, there we go. I think we solved it. And yes. Prophet Tarzan was sent to Africa. And he would swing on ropes going, Allahu Akbar.
MashaAllah.
You've all heard the Tarzan shout, right? Allahu Akbar.
No, this is not a joke. Listen, Lloyd. When I was in Indonesia first time, I hear this thing coming from their mosque, not just one mosque. They're like 10 mosques at the same time. Allah Akbar, Allah. I said to the guy, I said, what is wrong? Is this guy need some help? Oh, another one. Allah. I said, what is wrong? He said, oh, that is the call of prayer. I said, that is the call of prayer? He said, yes. I said, that does not sound like any Arabic. He said, well, that's the best you know how to do it here. Then in one morning, 5 o'clock, I hear this beautiful Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. I wake up my interpreter and I said, man, we need to go to that mosque. He said, what? I said, there's somebody there speaking Arabic. This very beautiful call of prayer. He said, brother Usama, I need to sleep. If he speaks Arabic, you don't need me to translate for you. You go and talk to him directly. So I did. I went to the mosque, and even though they wake up the whole neighborhood, they were not in that mosque, huge mosque, maybe 10 people, Brim. Anyway, everybody leaving the mosque and walking. Wait a minute, wait. I'm trying to stop the people to ask, where is the imam? Where is the imam? And all of them left, except the last one is a little boy, maybe, I don't know, 10 years old. Yeah. So what?
It was a tape recording, right? Or something.
You ruined my story. Go ahead. He took me to the mosque and he showed me the tape player behind the mosque, behind the Qibla, near the Qibla. MashaAllah. Go ahead.
You know, actually, there's a story from my hometown. What happened was these people got sick and tired. There's this little neighborhood. It's like a bit of a slum neighborhood close to where I lived. And what happened was the mosque, they do the azan like early in the morning, and the gangsters captured the imam, and they took him at gunpoint to the top of the mosque apparently, and then they made him sing "Who Let the Dogs Out."
Oh my world, you can't be serious.
So they made him sing that, and then they left. So yeah, because it gets annoying too. So anyway, So if you're waiting for the sheep babies, don't follow the prophet. Okay, just so you guys know.
Yeah.
So this prophet went to invade a village and he prayed the prayer. Yeah, he said the prayer. Which prayer? The prayer.
What does he say when before they invade? Yeah.
The prayer you say. He said the prayer that you say. The one that he said that you would say. He said that. So he said to the sun, "You are commanded, and I am commanded. O Allah, imprison the sun for me for a while." Okay, this story just sounds a little fishy. This sounds a little bit like Joshua and the sun.
Yeah, yeah.
So Allah imprisoned it. So they won and they gathered the spoils. Then the fire came to consume it, but the fire refused to consume it. And the prophet said, "Some iniquity is in you. Who among you will pledge allegiance?" What am I even reading?
I have no idea, brother.
And a man's hand stuck to his hand, and my hand stuck to my face. I'm sorry, Usama, my hand is stuck to my face.
No, remove it for now. We need to
think
keep
I
reading.
can read anymore. I think I am done reading. My hand is now stuck.
No,
to
no,
my
no,
face.
no, no, no. Bring the book back, please, brother. We need to finish the story. I have to finish the story. Seriously. No, no, no.
I can't.
Please.
My hand is stuck to my face, Usama. I've got a disease called face palm.
You see, you don't believe in Prophet Muhammad. It's what's amazing. He's a very, very famous guy. His name is Joshua. And Muhammad, the greatest prophet of all, does not know his name. Can you imagine how stupid that is?
Yeah.
Muhammad is talking about Joshua, the man after Moses. All the children, 8, 9 years old, the Jewish children know him. If you talk today to little boys and girls, 8 years old, about a prophet, the sun, sit still. Oh, you talk about prophet. Muhammad does not know his name, but that's okay. Keep going.
Yeah, we've got Formidable Faith, number 69 here. And he says, Christians, you were addressed before you even knew Christianity. Like, you can't be addressed before whatever. Okay, fine. But, Muslims are so confident. The Quran is way after the Bible. They have no evidence of an early Quran. They claim that the Palestinians were Muslims. Fine, so show us where they worship, the name of their religion, what book they used. Show us any historical evidence of their coins, their religion that's mentioned, any documents, any kind of archaeology for these ancient Palestinian Muslims from 2,000 years ago. You got nothing that can prove they were Palestinians. It was a country. There's no evidence that the Quran was a book, though the Arabic language doesn't date before the 5th century. So 6th century. So yeah, you don't even have any copies of the Quran that goes back to before the Christians were. This is such garbage. Anything you want to add, JC?
That if you talk to a Muslim with logic, but that idiot here or that person here does not have common sense or any logic. So, oh well.
Yeah. Anything you want to add, JC?
Yeah, we can't understand that because we cannot understand the parable of the dog. That's the reason.
Yeah. The who let the dogs out? That makes sense now. Now we know what it is. It's the, So, and a man's hand stuck to his hand, like my hand is now stuck to my face. And then he said, "Some iniquity is in your people." So he pledged his people, and something stuck to the hand of 2 or 3 of his people. Guys, the level of detail here. This is. He pledged his people, and something stuck to the hand of the people. So he said, "Iniquity is among you because something was stuck." Can anyone seriously? Does anyone? Can anyone tell me what the heck is going on here, please? Please.
It sounds a lot like when you tell a fable and you say, "Once upon a time there was a prince, and then there was an evil witch." You are not using names because you are just telling a story that is supposed to be generic. So they are not trying to tell an actual story.
But with all respect, when you tell a fable, you learn many lessons from. When you read that, I learned nothing. Have you?
Yes, I've learned that Allah knows best.
Yeah, I just want to mention this. This is from I Fish in a Tie, and it's $2, and thank you. And it says, Quran is Christian homily, Muhammad is Bishop of Negus. Look, I do appreciate the comment. I did see your earlier comments, but this is not within the topic that we're discussing right now. We do have discussions on this topic. We did have several hours of this particular topic. We had Kalamel, we had Odon, we had, those of us you see here now discussing this. Now, I mean, it's one thing to make definitive statements. It's another thing to have the evidence to definitively prove this, right? We can make educated guesses on this. We can look at parallels, but I wouldn't necessarily state, because there's more than just Christian homilies at play here. So I did see this, but we've discussed this on this channel many times. 2 weeks ago, we did about 4 hours, 6 hours, I don't know, 4 hours of specific episodes on exactly this topic. So we discussed this already, and we're discussing this with Odon. I've got numerous hours. I've probably got at least 20 hours on this given topic on the channel over the last couple of years, and with Odon and others. So yeah, so it's just not relevant to our discussion right now. But thank you. Okay, so it was the thing that got stuck, the thing that got the thing stuck in the things. So basically, it's it's like when my mechanic tells me what's wrong with the car, and he says, there's the thing, and it's not thinging properly. So it's kind of, so what we've got to do is we've got to thing this other thing, and then the thing will thing properly, and then and I'm like, does it drive? Am I good? Is it going to cost me a lot of money? That's how much I understand.
Yeah. But at least the mechanic can show you the thing which is not working right, and he shows the new thing, and he can fix it and make your car run good. But what we have here, it is once again something you don't know what it is, and you cannot figure it out, and you say, "MashaAllah, MashaAllah."
You know what? Now we figured it out. It's stuck for Allah. This is where the term comes from. It's stuck for Allah.
Astaghfirullah, not astaghfir. I seek the mercy, or I
Stuck
seek
for Allah. So the thing stuck to stuck. They got stuck for Allah. There you go.
You're killing me, people. You're killing me. Anyway, so
This is-
after all these stuck together, what happened next?
Yeah, guys. So welcome. I fish in a tie. So he says I'm new here, first time. So welcome, hello. Yeah, look, we have very serious academic episodes. We had one last night. We've had Odon, he's an author. JC is an author. They've both written books. Odon keeps some solid company with some major academics, as does Mel, who was on last night, as is Paul Ellis, who's just written a major research on the whole aspect of what is the Quran, what is its source, and also the Jerusalem thesis. We're discussing that. So we do have very detailed, very academic examinations, very deep historical ones. Today is not that episode. Today is looking at the tafsir and the Quran, and I just can't take this book seriously anymore. So yeah.
Now, when you don't take this material seriously, you're insulting me, man. So please pretend that you're taking it seriously, and you learn about these things stuck together. Okay, there must be a lesson you can learn about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, this guy Duran Dar is back again. He keeps making messages, then he retracts them. He keeps doing this. I don't know who this guy is. He comes on and he says, yeah, so this is how people get attached to Allah, because the thing gets attached to the thing, and then they thing because of the thing. And a man's hand stuck to his hand. Maybe it was the first start of the little gay bits, a man's hand stuck to his hand. So and then he said some iniquities in your people. So he pledged these people, and then something stuck to the hand of 2 or 3 of the people. And so he said, iniquities among you. Then they brought him out to the head of a cow made of gold. And when they put it with the money, the fire came and consumed the. What the heck am I reading?
It's a story in the Bible. Coming on.
They brought him out to the head of a cow made of gold, and when they put it with the money, the fire came and consumed the spoils.
Exactly.
That's a word salad. That's what we are reading.
This is. I mean, Catherine says, yeah, obviously no one has ever read this trash word for word. It was ignored out of fear. This is, what is this? So perhaps if Muhammad had read the true account in the Bible correctly, he would not have made so many errors, as we've seen in the word salad But can someone give me a summary so far? Um, does anybody want to try? So basically, there was
a man, he did something, and then his hand stuck to something, and the other hand stuck to it, and then the golden cow on the fire consumed it. That's it.
and then some
Actually,
people did
I think
something.
he means a summary of the 46 episodes.
Well, if you go to Deuteronomy chapter 24, you learn the whole thing without any questioning. Trust me.
You know, we read this so you don't have to. You know,
Measure.
so basically, this is the story of Joshua and Moses, and
I
yeah,
don't know. We were talking about Moses in the Quran, and somehow he went to different bunch of stories out of 3 verses: 156, 157, 158, 159, and there is no connection whatsoever. There's no, I mean, he just wasted few pages. And by the way, I'm writing to you guys the summary of what he said, and he repeated 3, 4 times. You get tired and sick of reading different opinion about the same story. I am saving you time and
not
your.
sanity, not sanity though.
Yes, I am. If I would have translated every word Ibn Kathir put about these 3 verses, you'll be reading that for the next couple 3 weeks. Trust me. Then you really be going nuts.
I can understand now why Muhammad couldn't read, because he started out being able to read, then he read this crap, and he suddenly, out of trauma, he forgot how to read.
Maybe, yeah.
That's how the. Yeah. So, let me see. As for the part where God commanded his people concerning those who should not go out to fight, as if you're waiting for the birth of your sheep, then don't go out. As in the case of a newly wedded husband, it was given to Moses, not to Joshua, as we see in the Torah in Deuteronomy 24:5, or Deuteroscopy, the book of Deuteroscopy. As for the sin of the people, we can find the account concerning what was forbidden to keep of the spoils in its entirety in Joshua 7. It was one of the children of Israel, son of Achram, from the tribe of Judah, who took a goodly garment, 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold of 50 shekels weight, but not the gold head of a cow, as stated by Muhammad. He hid these spoils under the middle of his tent. Because of this man's sin, the children of Israel lost a battle against Ai. And we encourage the reader to read the entire account in the Bible. His entire household was stoned and burned with fire. Yes, this is torture. Exactly. Yep. Yeah, we're just basically reading Ibn Kathir's essays on the. If the Quran is so clear, why do you need Ibn Kathir to clarify it for you with all this confusion? So
not only Ibn Kathir did not make any sense about the verses we read in the Quran, but he destroyed the biblical account, which make a lot of sense of that which we read in any of the books of the Bible, which he's copying and added his interpretation. He really, he didn't fix the Quran, and he corrupted the Bible in his writings. End of story.
Right. So Muhammad's confusion is clear, because the purpose of the battle was not for the children of Israel to take spoils. The gold, silver, and iron were taken to the house of the Lord, and the story of Achan took place afterwards, not at the same time as the invasion of Jericho. Ibn
He
Kathir
mixed
quoted,
together. He always does that. He literally always do. It doesn't matter what story is coming from the Bible. If you look carefully, you find he adds something have nothing to do with it in the same story.
Right. So, of course, Ibn Kathir quotes the Quran 7. And when it was said to them, dwell in the village and eat what you will from there, and say forgiveness and enter the door worshipping, we will forgive your sins. We will increase the doers of the good. Which door? We don't know. Just any door. Just enter the door worshipping. And in fact, Allah will probably tell you, enter the door with your feet. Don't enter.
Yeah.
Well, what does he say? Enter the right way. Don't enter through the windows or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Janice is telling us it all started with Epstein, then a donkey, and then who let the dogs out. That's a pretty good summary.
Yeah, you're terrible bad. You're terrible bad.
Yeah, and then Ibn Kathir is a 14th century Syrian. He's kind of late. Yeah. So yeah, and then we showed a picture of Muhammad, the only existing picture of Muhammad that still exists.
That was a good show today, man. That was a good show.
So yeah, let's just get the only known picture of Muhammad. So yeah, so there you go. I mean, this is appropriate. So and yeah, so where were we? And then we said, and oh wait, hold on. And so the unjust among them replaced the word with another, not the same which had been said. And so we sent a wrath over them from the heaven because they were unjust.
Yeah. So what was the word and what was the other?
The word is a bird. The bird is the word. The bird is the word. I think that I think I saw that on American Dad. The bird is the word. I think.
No, actually, it was cartoon.
Yeah. The yeah. So
Give me the bird. Give me the bird. The pussycat.
Yeah, Catherine is right. I mean, this is ludicrous. She has a low threshold for BS, and she cannot believe heads of state tolerate this pathetic ripple. I mean, why do academics even entertain this nonsense? It's just beyond me. You know, it's from American Dad. Yes, it is. It's from American Dad. The bird is the word. Yeah, there you go. And Quran 2 says, and when we said, enter this qaria, so eat there plentifully, whatever you will, and enter the bab with worship and say, hitta. Hit her, maybe? I have no idea.
Notice now, these words are non-Arabic words in the Quran. And when we use them as Arabic words, you come up with the English above. If you follow me, village, non-Arabic word, Syriac origin. Door, non-Arabic word of Aramaic origin. Forgiveness, non-Arabic word. That is the problem I think we have in the Quran. Muhammad or those who help them to write the Quran, they write some Syriac words or whatever other language word. It does not fit in the Arabic. It does not make any sense. And here we are today. And the scholars will give you great fabrication to make sure that you understand the Quran. It is the perfect word of Allah and it's pure Arabic. Somehow,
55% of the religious terms in the Quran are Syriac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, if you ask anybody what is Heta, they'll have no idea what it is. Arab from Saudi Arabia, from Egypt, from whatever country. What is Heta? And say Heta. What is Heta?
Nobody knows. Allah knows best. So yeah. Ibn Kathir ends the story of Joshua by stating that when the children of Israel settled in Jerusalem, Joshua continued to be among them, judging between them with the book of Allah, the Torah. Why didn't they preserve the Torah then? Until Allah took his spirit when he was 127. And then he lived 27 years after the death of Moses. So where did Ibn Kathir get this information concerning the death of Joshua?
You're asking too many questions, man.
So the true account of Joshua in the Bible can be found in the book of Joshua. As for the death of Joshua, son of Nun, you're saying the Quran doesn't have these details?
No, nothing. Nothing. I challenge you, find me Joshua in the Quran. As a matter of fact, there's only Joshua and the Green Prophet, which we're going to read a little bit later, have nothing to do with the Joshua of the Bible. But that's okay. Keep going. How old was he?
So as for the death of Joshua, the son of Nun, he was 110 years old, not 127, as Ibn Kathir erroneously stated. He was buried on the border of the city in his inheritance of Timnath Serah, which is located on the mountain of Ephraim on the north side of the hill of Gash. This can be found in Joshua 24. We've actually finished this chapter. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. But listen, the entirety of the biblical teaching can be read about any story without a second thought. Where, when, what, how, why. When you ask this question about any story in the Quran, well, I can surely assure you, good luck to figure out what he's talking about. It is a prophet from among them. It was in the right side of the mountain. It is the one in the middle. It happened after the quake took place, and that's it. You see, you got details.
Yeah, it's extremely specific. That's why the Quran, you can use it to go find things and do archaeology with it. I mean, ask any Muslim to show you how they use the Quran for archaeological purposes and all of their major archaeological finds of Mecca. True story.
Yeah, yeah. Good luck.
Exactly. Muslims are hyper skeptics when it comes to the Bible, but when it comes to their sources, everything goes. They can't question. I mean, they'll kill you for doing so. It's quite simple. Right? They honestly ask them, what archaeological finds has the Quran led people to? How is the Quran used in archaeology? The Bible is consistently used by archaeologists to not only identify things they do find, but also to lead them to things that they expect to find. And it's been used for hundreds of years now to uncover archaeological artifacts. It is still used today to identify people, places, things like temples, houses, wells, rivers, whatever, archaeological things they find, jewelry, and so on. The Bible is an archaeological map and guide. The Quran has virtually zero archaeological value.
I learned from Brother Yusuf from Saudi Arabia, who was with us on our broadcast the other day, that in Saudi Arabia, when they build this huge rising buildings, they have to dig deep to put foundation, bigger foundation, and they actually have policemen there. And I said, wow, in case they discover something archaeologically to prove Islam. He said, no, in case they found something goes against Islam. So they will not allow a camera or a person or any investigator to go look at this digging they do around Mecca, which makes no sense. They should be seeking the help of the archaeologists to dig in and found that. I mean, the one thing I really wish for them to prove to us by which we all can become Muslim. Muhammad assures them that the bodies of the Prophet does not decay, which means if we go to the tomb of Muhammad today, Brother Lloyd, we'll find his body as it was when he was buried 1400 years ago. Okay, why can't they see? Let us go look at the body of Muhammad to see if he's still there with his good condition. Why can't they?
Also with this Palestinian thing, they're supposed to be Muslims. Okay, fine. What was the name of the Palestinian language? What was the name of their holy book?
Greek.
Where's a copy of their holy book? Show me the writing of this Palestinian nation, right? Show me their coins from 2000 BC or from 1 AD, 100 AD, 50 AD, 20 BC. Show me their coins. Where are they mentioned by the Romans? Where they mentioned by any nation in that region? What kind of diplomatic? What songs did they sing? Where were their temples? Show me 10 of their temples that were built. What was the name of their religion? There were no Palestinians. There were no Muslims. There's no Islam. We have the Romans only talk about, and all these nations talk about the Jews. Nobody.
If you know, we did this program, by the way, you and I, people can go to it and watch it, which is Israel or Palestine, where we give details from the book of Ezekiel, Jeremiah, and Amos about the Kathir people, the sea people, the northern people, where we know where the Palestinians, the original Palestinians came from. They were in the island of Kathir. They actually came from the north, which is Greek. They were Greek. And by the way, they ceased to exist in that land 604 BC as Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babel, came and he took some of them alive and the rest he wiped out to fulfill the prophecy of Ezekiel and Jeremiah. So there is no existence of any Arab Muslim in that land until 640 some years later after Christ. You're talking about 1,200 years, Lloyd. You cannot mix Arab Muslims, who are, by the way, a mixed blood. They're not pure Arab. You can go online and see one Muslim after another assuring us that the Palestinians are not Arab. And we know for sure they're not Palestinians. The archaeologists, you talk about archaeology, the digging in the land, in that land, in these 5 cities, shown us that dead people who were buried 700-800 years before Christ, their DNA perfect match to those who come from Greek. not Arab. So DNA is on our side. Egyptian history, the papyrus hearse is on our side. The Babylonian history, the biblical history, every evidence that the Palestinians, who they call themselves Palestinians, have nothing to do with Islam or Muslim, and they ceased to exist in that entry of the promised land as you're coming out of Egypt, according to the book of Exodus. They ceased to exist literally 604 before Christ.
Yeah. JC, any comments?
That should surprise no one, because we see that everything in Islam is a fabrication. The Quran had nothing to do with Islam. There was not this guy saying, "Hey, look, this is a wonderful book," or anything of the sort. It didn't originate in the region that we've been told. There is no artifacts in Mecca. So Mecca was a fabrication. So and when you read even Kathir and things like that, you see what they are doing. It's the mentality of the Saracens perfectly preserved. It's like, let's just lie and confused. And Lloyd, I think once you probably correct spot on when you said it looks like they try to just throw a lot of words into anything so that you don't bother reading. That's actually when Adam Seeker was here on the show, and actually we saw some tafsirs explaining. I think it was the word Dalek, and we saw tafsir after tafsir, pages and pages, and you said, yeah, I saw that you don't go and read through this. It looks like even Kathir was doing the same. It's about just telling you all of the different nonsense that they could come up with, all of the different versions, so that you never bother to question anything. You just go, Allahu Alam, and then you move on with your
Just
life.
a lot of noise to hide the signal. They just baffle you with BS. I mean, honestly, I would love Muslims to just show me the archaeology. Just show me the evidence. These ancient Muslims, show me the ancient Quran. I don't know, show me a copy of the Quran from, show me inscriptions of, it would be really nice to see something, but yeah, they don't have it.
Can you imagine, Lloyd, growing up in Egypt all your life until you finish college and you leave that country, and all what you hear day and night, we have one holy, pure Arabic Quran. Not one dot is different than the original one. Not one dash. I mean, literally. And today I found out if there was original Quran, it will have no dots. So, which means count how many dots in the Quran today. All these dots were added 100 years later after Muhammad died. Can you imagine that?
Were added in Iraq.
Yeah.
The language was standardized in Iraq between the 7th and the 9th centuries or something. So this is not.
But when your teacher tell you that we do not have even one difference of a dot, when the original Quran did not have one dot.
Yeah. And Arabic was only standardized, I think, in the 6th, 7th century, something like that. And the Quran was standardized, the vowelizations, the pronunciation, and so on. This process took a couple of hundred years. Happened in Iraq, not in Mecca.
And if you don't know anything about Arabic, I can change the whole sentence and what it means if I just play with the dots or with the vowels. Literally, I can make the verse say the opposite of what is said, or some completely different information by changing the dots or the vowels. I can make up. You give me a chapter in the Quran, Lloyd, and let me play with it in 10 minutes. And I will read it to you in the Arabic language with a completely different story.
Right. Yeah. Do you know, Usama, we only have 2 more chapters left in this book.
That's
Chapter
volume 1.
18, the story of Al-Qadar, the green prophet, and the story of Elijah.
That's important.
The green prophet. The green prophet. You will see, Muhammad invented the green eco-friendly movement. He probably invented the electric motor for cars and CO2 emissions to keep them down. So
do you have a picture for that green thing you're talking about? Because you always come up with pictures. I don't know where you come up with.
I'm gonna sort something out when we get there. I'm gonna keep this as a surprise.
I need a picture of something green. Hey, how about this movie where this guy gets angry and mad and he gets so big and become green? It's a movie. The one can climb the building.
I'm sorry to say this to you, but that's kind of like fiction, which is a lot like the Quran, actually.
It's the same.
The thing is, Usama just mentioned about changing dots. Can I show something on a screen just to see if changing
Sure.
the dots on this thing makes
My
sense or
name
if
is
it
Lloyd, and I
doesn't?
give you permission to do that right now. I give you permission. Me, Lloyd.
Yeah, Janice knows the Hulk as well. We knew. Yeah, Janice, we knew it was the Hulk. But yeah,
Hey,
thank you.
So here, just one verse. This is repeated in 3 different places. So just to see if this then changes the Arabic or not. By looking at this section here,
أزواج
so the
المطهرة.
purified
Pure
spouses.
spouses. Yeah.
So if we have a look just a little bit bigger so that we can see, does it change the meaning if we just remove those 2 dots, or does it break the Arabic?
أرواح يا نهار أسود. أرواح means spirits. أزواج means wives.
And will it break the Arabic if without those 2 dots, it
Not
would be
soul.
saying
No.
that when you are in
Yes,
heaven,
brother.
you will have purified souls?
Yeah, but not soul. Soul is anfus. Ruh is a spirit. And Muslim, that because you got this translation obviously from the internet. The Muslim and those who influence the interpretation, they play games. Ruh is spirit. Soul is nafs. He did not say anfus mutahara. He said arwahun mutahara. To be honest with you, see the dash above the wow in the middle letter? That's not a letter. So you're going to read it arwah. Arwah, not arwah. Arwah is not an Arabic word. I have no idea what it means. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah, so
Azwaj, you're reading that wrong. They added the dash above the wow in the middle. So it's supposed azwaj. What azwaj? It's not a word. You need an alif. It's missing an alif.
right.
Okay.
So they fixed that by adding the Dagar Aleph, which happens hundreds of years after the time of Muhammad. So I do that. Probably the Quran is hiding the word ruh in places simply because it's an important word. So these are the things that we should be looking at to see if some verses we can make them make sense.
Sure. Brother, if you want to look at the Quran from a grammatic point view from the Arabic language, that book is loaded with error. You can write a book of a 10,000 page just to look at the errors of the words which Muhammad put in the Quran, which they claim to be Arabic. Here's a good one in front of you. Azwaj is not an English word. Azwaj is an English word, which means spouses or wives. You take the dots out, now it become arwah, which is spirits, not souls, spirits. And you take the dash above the word arwah. What arwah? It's not a word. Doesn't exist in the Arabic language. Welcome to the beauty of the Quran. Comedy. It's a comedy book.
Right. That's
And
why it's this is so so next week we'll be back and we'll be talking about the green
Green.
prophet.
Find me a picture of the green man.
We'll get that. It's good. So basically the green prophet was very famous for going out and smashing the enemies of Allah, and he would say his name was Halak, and he would say Halak smash. True story. It's Ibn Kathir or something. I'm pretty sure.
None of the stories you shared with me, Lloyd, are not true, man. You don't have to tell me again true. I know you're telling me the truth. The problem is I can't handle your truth. That is my
The Grinch. It's the Grinch. The green prophet is
problem. No, not the Grinch. Not the Grinch. I'm talking about the guy where he get angry, his body gets so big and the shirt cut and it look like a wild, huge. He's green, man. If my son next to me or my wife, she would tell me what's the name of that thing.
This sounds very bad.
No, it's a true character. I see it in cartoon all the time. It's in the movies. The green thing.
We're going to
Whatever it's
invest.
called.
So, guys, next week we're going to investigate. Is this a true story? Is there a real swelling big green prophet who can smash things? Right. So yeah, please please join us next week for the next exciting episode of the Quran. Dun 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 dun. Anyone else want to add anything here? So thank you for joining us, everyone. It's been fantastic. Actually, it hasn't been fantastic, but I just made it through. I survived. And
You just lied. You just lied. You call it fantastic and it's not fantastic. What is the difference between Brother Lloyd and Prophet Muhammad? They're both liars. MashaAllah.
halal hulk. It's halal hulk. There you go. Lou Ferrigno. Yeah.
He did. The name is Hulk. Hulk. I know him. Hulk is the right name. Man. Hulk. MashaAllah. All right. See you next week. See you next week. God bless
JC,
you all.
thanks for joining us. Usama, audience, you guys are the best. On a scale from 1 to 10, you don't make me read the Quran like Usama does. So you guys get an okay out of 10. Usama, I don't want to.
None, 1, 0, whatever. Just some number. Give me a number. I will take a -1. Just give it to me.
Okay, so guys, it's been great. We shall see you soon. I should be back on Sunday with the Thunderous One. We'll be talking about, is the UK okay? And JC, are we on tomorrow or something?
We haven't. We can talk after and see if we want to actually do something for tomorrow.
Okay, Usama, you have a good one.
God bless you guys.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
God bless you all. Bye.
God bless.